Okay, so here's a quick video on how I made my sound system so that you can project your voice from inside the helmet to outside of the Halo helmet, because with the visor on and all the padding, it's going to be very muffled. I've seen a couple other videos that use a smaller circuit board and smaller speakers, but the sound quality is not very good. So what I did was I took a voice amplifying system that teachers use or aerobics instructors, and I'll list the parts here. What you do is you basically just take the circuit board out. It's got a 3.5 millimeter microphone amp input here. It's got its own battery that's rechargeable, and it'll last you about 6 hours is what they said. The microphone I bought separately because the microphone that came with it is kind of low quality. So really the circuit board and the microphone are probably the most important parts of it. Here's a picture of the speakers from in the front and the back. They are 4 ohm, 3 watt speakers that actually work really well. They're powered very well with the system, and let me just turn it on so you can hear. You can adjust the volume, so hopefully I won't have any feedback. I don't expect to with the configuration that I have, but this is it turned all the way up, and I'll speak into the microphone so you can hear me. We just got a little bit of clipping because the microphone was close to my mouth, but it will be about this distance, and you'll be able to hear my voice hopefully clearly while I'm speaking to other people wearing the helmet. These are just the right size to fit inside my Mark 7 helmet, and they will fit inside where the vents are there, facing kind of outward. And right in the front, I'm going to 3D print a little stand for my microphone, but you could probably do it with duct tape. And then the other parts that you'll need in addition to a soldering iron are some good wires. I like these DuPont wires because they're very thin, easy to work with, easy to strip the insulation off. The microphone I got was a Seymour, very cheap microphone, but it's called a lavalier mic or lapel mic, which is really good quality for what you get. And then you'll also need some black fabric to mask the inside so that you don't see the speaker. I'm going to put some here too as a vent so that you don't see inside the helmet, but you'll still get ventilation. And last thing, I got some acoustic foam for padding the helmet so that there's no resonance inside the helmet. When the speakers are mounted, there's going to be foam tape, like 3M foam, double-sided sticky tape, to keep it from vibrating the helmet. I'm going to do the same thing with my fans and the internal speakers. The ear system, which is, I think it's external audio relay system, the microphone's going to be that small. It's going to fit in the little hole inside that bolt, and I'll do a separate video on that. So the biggest trick is how to wire the speakers to the board. So the red here is the positive. So you take the positive, and what we're going to do is wire this in series. So we're going to go from the positive into the speaker. You're not going to be able to see this on the video, but the positive on this one, if you look with a magnifying glass, there's a little plus sign and a little negative sign. So I used white to mark the positive. So you go from red to positive, then I have a black wire, which is the ground. The ground goes all the way to the other speaker's positive. There. And then the ground comes out of this one back into the, it's this brown wire, back into the black wire here. So you go from red to positive. The negative, we'll call it negative or ground, goes from this speaker all the way over to this speaker here. Then on the negative side of this speaker goes back into the main unit, which plugs in, but I just used the wires that came with it. So this is rechargeable. There's a USB-C input to recharge it. So you can recharge it inside your helmet if you want. And I think that's mostly it. So I think the wiring was the hardest part. Actually, finding this unit was the hardest part, to find out how to do that. You can get these on Etsy for $160, $170, or you can build it yourself for much, much less. I think it's like $30 for the components. The last thing I used was this heat shrink tubing to protect my soldering joints and to add strength to it so that they don't come unraveled. So once this is installed in the helmet, these will all be tucked away. You might notice that this is going to be my right speaker. The left speaker is twice as long so that it can go, the unit's going to be installed in here, and the speaker's going to go. So I'm going to tuck the unit in that little recess, and the speaker wire to the left is going to go all the way around. So I made that a little bit longer just so it'll fit. And that's it for this one. And then I'll do a separate video and how I did the ears system so that you can hear outside sound inside the helmet with the fans going on. It's going to be a little bit harder to hear, and I'll have a visor obviously, so that way you can hear people and talk to them with your helmet on, and everything will be self-contained inside the helmet.